Night City, a name synonymous with danger, ambition, and broken dreams. But this sprawling beast wasn't born overnight. It was conceived by one man's vision and forged in decades of conflict. Today, we uncover the full story of Richard Knight, his dream city, and how it became the battleground we know, delving into lore from the original sourcebooks. Our story begins with Richard Knight, a driven young partner in the construction firm Halsy, Faris Knight. In the late 20th century, they built massive corporate projects, making the partners wealthy. But by 1990, designing office plazas wasn't enough for Knight's grander aspirations. He envisioned something unprecedented and left to form his own company, Knight International. His dream? To build the ultimate city of the future. As America fractured under the weight of the collapse, Knight saw an opportunity. He planned Coronado City, a privately funded metropolis free from the decay, crime, and laws gripping the nation. Information from sources like the Night City Sourcebook details his plan: a city run by corporations for corporations, no anti-business elements, optimal zoning, a true capitalist mecca. This wasn't just a city, it was a statement, a potential future model. Financing this required immense capital. Luckily, the collapse made Megacorp eager for controlled urban zones. By 1992, Knight secured backing from giants like Arasaka, IBM, and Petrochem. The location chosen was California's Del Coronado Bay, ideal for its port potential. Petrochem already held significant land rights there, smoothing the deal. But there was another layer. The West Coast mobs, who controlled construction unions and licenses, also invested heavily through shell corporations, hoping for inside tracks on future illicit businesses. Knight needed their cooperation, at least initially, even if their goals were fundamentally different. Construction began in 1993. Coronado City rose with a deep-water bay, a central corporate plaza, and planned neighborhoods. Knight International used cutting-edge techniques, deliberately excluding older methods, and the firms using them. This crucially sidelined established unions and firms controlled by the mob, as well as Knight's bitter former partners, Halsy and Faris. Now Halsy, Faris, and Skiv. This act, intended to ensure efficiency and control, directly antagonized powerful, dangerous groups. Knight's exclusion of the mob and his old rivals proved fatal. His spurned colleagues allied with powerful NorCal mob figures. Threats against Knight began, escalating over the first 4 years of construction. Initially dismissive, Knight eventually relied on corporate security, particularly Arasaka's ruthless forces, for protection, but it wasn't enough. On September 10, 1998, Richard Knight was assassinated in his penthouse suite at the Parkview Tower. The killer vanished. In his memory, the city council officially renamed Coronado City to Night City. His dream city was barely finished and already stained with his blood. Knight's death created a power vacuum. The next 7 years were bloody as corporations, the mob, and nascent gangs fought for control. While cores held the government center, the mob dominated businesses and the outskirts. Corrupt police were useless. Gangs flourished in neglected areas like the combat zone. By 2005, the mob had effectively taken over, pushing corporations into fortified enclaves. From 2005 to 2009, Night City entered its dark ages. The mob ruled with an iron fist, turning the city into a war zone of crime, drugs, and violence, a hellish parody of Knight's vision. Gangs like the Blood Razors and Slaughterhouse terrorized the streets. By 2009, the corporations had enough, not out of civic duty, but because the mob's chaos hurt their bottom line. This was business. From 2009 to 2011, the brutal mob war raged. Led by Arasaka's heavily armed forces, using AVs, tanks, and troops, the Corps launched a wave of bombings, assassinations, and street battles against the ill-prepared mob. When the smoke cleared, the mob's power base was shattered. The corporations installed a puppet mayor and began cleaning up. Corporate cleanup was selective. Corporate and city centers were restored, while other areas saw varying success, often marginal. Draconian corporate policies led to mass evictions and a chronic homeless problem. As corporate troops moved into abandoned residences, Night City solidified its status as a corporate-controlled free state. This unique status, however, set the stage for the next catastrophe. By the early 2020s, tensions between the world's two biggest arms dealers, Arasaka and Militech, were escalating towards the Fourth Corporate War, and Night City, hosting major facilities for both giants, was about to become ground zero. The Fourth Corporate War erupted globally in 2021, sparked by a proxy conflict between Sino and OTEC, who hired Arasaka and Militech respectively. Soon, the proxies were forgotten, and it became an all-out war between the two security megacorps. Night City suffered terribly. Constant street fighting ravaged the city, especially around the corporate zone. Citizens fled in droves to escape drones, tanks, and kill squads. The net itself became a casualty, corrupted by data warfare, leading to the fragmented, dangerous net of 2077. The war climaxed here. On August 20th, 2023, a Militech-backed strike team, including figures like Johnny Silverhand and Morgan Blackhand, assaulted Arasaka Tower. During the chaos, a tactical nuclear device detonated. The nuke obliterated Night City's heart, killing thousands and irradiating the corporate zone. This catastrophic event, leaving a shroud of red dust over the ruins for years, the time of the Red, finally forced the US government and international powers to intervene and end the Fourth Corporate War. Arasaka was temporarily driven from the US. Richard Knight dreamed of a perfect city, a beacon of corporate order. What he got was decades of bloodshed, mob rule, corporate war, and ultimately nuclear devastation, all fueled by the very forces he invited in. His name remains, forever tied not to a utopia, but to the ultimate symbol of cyberpunk dystopia. Rebuilt, but never healed. Richard Knight's legacy is complex and tragic. Was his vision fundamentally flawed, or just consumed by the world he lived in? Let us know your thoughts below. If you want more deep dives into cyberpunk lore, please like and subscribe. Stay safe out there, Chooms.